Hey there! Today, we'll be painting the back of the Ironweld Great Cannon front shields from Cities of Sigmar. These impressive, foldable shields not only give the artillery piece a commanding presence, but also feature intricate details we'll highlight using the non-metallic metal technique. In the next episode, we'll focus on the front of the shields and its wonderful ornaments like the central gargoyle, which doubles as a battering ram. Let's get ready to conquer the gray. Welcome back, Sigmarites! For the first painting session of our Ironweld Great Cannon subseries, we'll concentrate our efforts on the prominent front shield. This mighty defensive feature is more than just armor. It's a blend of protection, artistry, and strategic brilliance. Let's start with the basics. We'll first paint the wooden parts of the shield on the backside using different techniques. This method will allow us to build up colors gradually to achieve smooth transitions and depth. As we did on the back of the shields of our Free Guild steel helms, we'll use flat brown for the base coat. Applied opaquely, this initial layer of paint will provide a solid foundation for the subsequent colors. The front shield of the Ironweld Great Cannon serves a vital role on the battlefield. As a stationary artillery piece, the cannon is a prime target for enemy fire, whether from rival artillery or close combat assaults. This shield steps up to the challenge, deflecting and absorbing attacks to keep the cannon and its crew safe. We'll now use the dry brushing technique with English uniform color to highlight the details and better reveal the wood grain. Apply this layer in a controlled manner to establish the initial highlights and shadows. The shields of the Ironweld Great Cannon are more than mere defensive tools. Their robust ironwork reflects the artistry and pride of Ironweld arsenal craftsmanship. These ornate decorations are not just for show. They symbolize the strength and heritage of the engineers and artisans who create powerful war machines and artillery. Thus, the shield serves not only as a piece of armor, but also as a mark of tradition. To help create contrast and define the details, we'll use Citadel Agrax Earthshade. This will speed up the painting process and add shadows to the recessed areas of the model. Continue applying thin layers of paint, each one slightly lighter than the previous. For the second dry brushing, we'll use Cork brown. This gradual buildup creates smooth color transitions and adds depth to the wood. The key is to use thin layers to avoid obscuring details, and to ensure that each layer blends naturally with the one before it. Another interesting fact about the Ironweld Great Cannon is that, in addition to offering protection, the front shield also reinforces the cannon structure. It helps stabilize the artillery piece, ensuring that it remains firmly in place during the recoil from its powerful shots. This stability is crucial for maintaining accuracy and effectiveness, especially when the cannon is unleashing its devastating firepower. To emphasize the highlight, we'll focus on the raised areas or edges of the wooden surfaces and apply lighter colors. We'll use a blend of Cork brown and beige, primarily on the upper parts of the shields. These highlights will simulate light reflecting off these areas, enhancing overall depth and realism. In terms of battlefield strategy, the front shield provides the Ironweld Great Cannon with a significant advantage. By shielding the cannon and its crew, it allows them to continue their bombardment from a secure position. This sustained fire support can be crucial in shifting the momentum of a battle, either by weakening enemy lines or holding a defensive stance. For the final touches, extra fine details such as highlights around the edges and notches, and glazes for color adjustments can be added to enhance the overall appearance and give the piece a more polished, realistic look. By alternating between these techniques, smooth gradients can be achieved, creating a more authentic wood appearance. Now that we've finished painting the wood, let's move on to the metallic parts, starting with a black base coat. The ironwork on the shields is well defined and relatively easy to paint. We should paint all the details by following the contours with slow and precise movements. It may be necessary to use the tip of the brush to reach certain corners, but generally, we use the side of the bristles to follow the edges in a linear motion. The front shield is also part of a larger system of armor and fortifications that protect the Great Cannon. With additional side shields and defensive plating, the entire setup works in harmony to safeguard the artillery piece from all angles. For greater precision, start from a visible point and move the brush toward yourself. This simple technique helps keep the bristles aligned and gives better control over the brush. Some details, such as the ornaments and skulls on the upper part of the shields, will later be painted in non-metallic gold. The base coat takes some time to complete due to the extensive trimming needed along the edges. However, it's important to work precisely to ensure a solid foundation. Starting from our black base coat, we'll gradually build up the layers with shades of gray, finishing with an off-white highlight. We'll begin by applying a dark gray layer. Here we're using AK German gray straight from the bottle, but any dark gray will work. You can also easily create dark gray by blending black and white paint. This technique will help us achieve a metallic look using non-metallic paint. We'll show you the colors we use as we go along, and list them in the video description. Feel free to ask any questions you may have in the comments section. Using a fine brush, we'll first paint the areas that are furthest from the light source, focusing on the recesses and areas that will appear darkest. We'll also paint the deepest shadows while ensuring to leave black in the hollows and on the lower parts of the metal plates. Since we're painting the light reflection as if it's coming from above, all surfaces on the upper part of the metallic elements need to be painted as well. This first layer will also help us blend the next color with our dark gray in the subsequent step. At this step, when creating the base for the light reflection, precision is not crucial. We can incorporate some randomness and irregularity into the reflections on the metal to give the wrought iron a more natural appearance. For the next step, we need to use a medium gray paint that is slightly lighter than the dark gray we just applied. We'll be using Vallejo Gray Green. Apply this to the edges of the raised areas. There's no need to blend it carefully with the dark gray. For this approach, a sharp transition between colors is preferred. While the dwarfs are renowned for their engineering skills, their direct involvement in the development of cannons for the cities of Sigmar is limited. The cities of Sigmar have their own skilled engineers and artificers who design and manufacture their artillery. These individuals are adept at combining technology and magic to produce effective weaponry for the city's defense and military campaigns. We'll then use an even lighter shade of gray to highlight the areas closest to the light source, such as the raised edges, rivets, and any spots catching the light. We'll be using dark sea gray, but any shade of gray lighter than the previous one will work. Another technique to illustrate light reflection on metal is to paint parallel stripes on flat surfaces. This mimics how light creates subtle, linear highlights and enhances the metallic sheen. As you know, non-metallic metal, or NMM, is a technique where we simulate the appearance of metal using non-metallic paints. Instead of using actual metal flakes, we rely on careful shading and highlighting to create the illusion of metal. While it requires skill and can be time-consuming, NMM offers a unique artistic effect. Some may find it less realistic compared to metallic paints, but it's excellent for creating striking, high-contrast looks and practicing brush control. We hope you're enjoying the content. If so, please give the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Your support means a lot to us and keeps us motivated. Thanks for being a part of our community. We'll enhance the highlights further by applying an additional layer of pale gray. For this thin layer, we'll use sky gray and focus only on the edges of the metal parts at the top of the shields. This will help to accentuate the metal's reflective quality and create a more pronounced contrast. Before adding the final off-white highlights, we'll paint the gold ornaments. This step ensures that the final highlight is applied evenly to both the metal and gold decorations, providing a consistent light reflection across all surfaces. To do this, we'll start by applying a flat brown base coat. The colors used here are part of our favorite non-metallic gold recipe. Feel free to experiment with different colors to find a gradient that you like, creating a convincing gold finish that stands out. Our first highlight color will be bright orange. We'll apply this paint to all the upper parts of the decorative elements, ensuring that the upper edges and raised areas are well highlighted, while leaving most of the lower areas in brown for contrast. For round surfaces like the skulls, we'll focus on smoothing the paint and carefully blending the colors to ensure a smooth transition between the shades. This technique will help us achieve a unified appearance, giving the decorative elements a more polished and realistic look. Once the bright orange highlights are in place, we'll assess the overall effect and choose another color based on the visual appearance of gold we want to achieve. For a vibrant, cartoony style, we might opt for a bright color. In our case, we'll use orange-brown to slightly reduce the intensity of the previous orange highlights. Adding this different tone of orange will also help create depth, and contribute to a more visually appealing finish. Next, a mix of orange, brown, and flat yellow can be applied as a transition color. This blend will help create a smoother gradient between colors. Then we'll apply a flat yellow highlight to further enhance our gold ornaments. This step is crucial for achieving a rich, vibrant look and will add an extra layer of luminosity to the gold finish. Start by applying the yellow highlight to the most prominent areas of the gold decorations where light naturally hits. This includes the upper edges, raised surfaces, and any focal points that you want to stand out. The yellow should be applied sparingly, as it's a bright color that can overpower other highlights if used excessively. Aim for a smooth and controlled application, glazing it gently into the previously applied colors to ensure a cohesive transition. The yellow highlight will help accentuate the metallic sheen and give the gold a more radiant appearance, contributing to a more dynamic and eye-catching effect. Finally, we'll add the off-white highlight to bring out the highest points of our decorations and create a striking contrast. This step will finalize our gold finish by adding a crisp and clean highlight that mimics the effect of light glinting off the metal. Apply the off-white highlight to the very top edges and most raised areas of the gold ornaments, focusing only on the areas that would naturally catch the most light. This color should be used sparingly to ensure a sharp, clean contrast against the yellow and other base colors, enhancing the overall depth and realism of the gold effect. Additionally, we'll apply this final off-white highlight to the metallic parts of the shields. This will ensure that all highlighted elements reflect light consistently, creating a striking and polished look that enhances the overall presentation. We hope you've enjoyed our straightforward guide to painting non-metallic metal. The Ironweld Great Cannon has been the perfect canvas to practice those dry brushing and layering techniques. Now that we've had a good warm-up, get ready because in our next episode, we'll focus on painting the front of the shields. If you enjoyed the video, subscribing and turning on the notifications would be a great way to keep up with our upcoming content. Thanks for joining us on this creative journey. And as always, keep on painting and take care.